I do not suffer from blindness. Hey you guys, it's me Roxy coming at you with a new video, and today I thought I'd talk about what it's like being blind. If you're new to my channel and this is your first video you're watching of me, hi, my name is Roxy. I live with an autoimmune disease called VKH, which caused me to be blind. And if you're not familiar with VKH, as most of you are not, you can go and click on this playlist so you can understand and have a better feel of what is going on with me and my body and my health and everything. A lot of you are going to click on this video even though it says not clickbait and think it's clickbait, but it's not clickbait. I actually did go blind and I know what it's like to be blind. Anyway, let's just get into it. So going blind is kind of self-explanatory since everything is pitch black. You don't know where you're going, can't see what you're doing, and that's it. So let's talk about walking. Obviously, I don't need my sight to walk. I can walk pretty well without seeing. It's the whole seeing what's in front of me part that I had trouble with. You wouldn't know if you were walking toward a step or a ramp or a tree. Getting dressed was also hard for me because I didn't know what the heck I was wearing, and it was weird because I'm just so used to saying, alright, I'm gonna wear that, and I think that kind of crushed it, that I couldn't even look cute for myself while knowing it, you know? So my mom helped me get dressed for school, for church, for everything. I kind of started to do it on my own, getting dressed on my own, because I could feel the materials and the clothing, and I would say, okay, these are my blue jeans, these are my black pleather jeans, I don't wear leather, don't support that, and I would say, okay, these are my purple pants because they have a little buckle at the bottom. It's so good that I have everything in order in my closet. I have sleeveless shirts, and I have t-shirts, regular t-shirts, and then I have long sleeve shirts. Everything is just all in order, so that helped so much when I went blind. So I would feel every single piece of clothing in my closet, and I would make an assumption, and I would tell my mother, I'd be like, is this exactly what I wanted? And she'd be like, heck yeah, you did really good. And I'm like, yes. With my hair, if you've been here long enough on this channel, you know I never do my hair, so that was never a struggle for me. Shoes was no problem at all either because I always put my shoes in the same place, and it's the same shoes I wear all the time. Now school was a tough one. I was in high school at this time in February of 2016, so that was probably the hardest part of going blind and being blind, is going to school, attending school. That's like the only thing I can say that was a true hardcore challenge for me. I needed to have an assistant, and God bless her heart, Lord, but she was not that good. She was really sweet to me, but I mean, like, her expertise was in teaching Spanish. She had never had any prior training to assisting special needs children or people with disabilities and things like that. So I mean, I can understand, but it's like, dang dude, please tell me when there's a step coming my way. I tripped twice on her watch, literally on her watch. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. That's not the worst part, but oh my god, just let me give you a daily basis of what went on when I was blind. So I would wake up and see nothing. It was weird. I don't even know how I would fall asleep if everything was black already all the time. Everyone's trained to like go to sleep when it's dark and when you close your eyes, right? For me, my eyes were open and it was dark 24/7, so I don't know how I went to sleep. That was weird. Okay, I'm just now thinking of this. This is why I'm like freaking out about it. I'd never thought of it until freaking right now. That is so weird. Anyway, I would literally sleep in the clothes that I was going to wear the next day. That way I wouldn't struggle in the morning trying to feel and find an outfit, because I value my sleep. So I wanted to sleep as long as I could so I wouldn't have to struggle. My shoes were always right there by my bed, so I put on my shoes. Getting around my house was not that hard. I would just feel my way, and I would just to walk with my hands in front of me because, I mean, my dad was already going off to work, my brothers were going off to work already, and my mom was asleep. So I had to do everything my own in the morning. So I could brush my teeth just fine. I could wash my face just fine. The morning part was fine before school. It was the going to school part that was really hard. This was before I had an assistant, mind you. When I first went blind, I was absent from school for 3 or 4 days because I was not allowed to go to school yet. Anyway, this day in particular, nobody knew I was blind. I'm there with my sunglasses in a freaking building. No one knew I was blind, and it was the toughest day ever for me because I could have no help at all whatsoever. And I don't think anyone recognized me either because of the sunglasses, or maybe everyone was just staring at me weirdly. I don't know, because I couldn't see. But getting breakfast was the toughest thing I've ever had to do. Luckily, my boyfriend at the time helped me out and guide me and stuff like that. But that was the longest, like, 20 minutes ever, because I didn't know where to freaking go. But I'm so thankful for him because, well, he eventually found me walking all alone, dead slow. I'm like, what's wrong with you, you know? I mean, I couldn't notify anyone or text anyone that I was blind because I couldn't see anything. I mean, now I can totally type and text without even looking at the screen. Like, that is just so easy for me now. But I mean, of course, when I first went blind, I was not able to do that. So I told him what was happening, what was going on, and even though we're not together anymore and he's married and, you know, having a kid, I am just so thankful for him. Especially for those times in high school when I was blind, you know, he helped me a lot. And yeah, I'm very thankful. So during school, before I had an assistant, he would take me to my classes and he would tell me what was for lunch, and he would get my lunch for me, and he would just take me anywhere he could take me. And he would sometimes meet me before class would end, and he would just take me to my next class. And he always made sure I wasn't alone during school, which was very nice. But the times that he couldn't be there was really, really stressful, such as in class. While I was in class, trying to learn and retain all of this knowledge without having my main source of learning ability, my sight. AP English, that was the toughest class for me because everyone had to read their projects, everyone had to read the books, everyone had to read, look at the board, or just everything involved sight. And I just didn't realize how much sight that we use on a daily basis. And I was like, dang, dude, what am I supposed to do? I felt so stupid. That teacher, Miss Stats, God bless her, she fought so hard to put me in AP. And when I finally entered, exactly 1 month later, I went blind. And I tried audiobooks. I really did. She gave me an audiobook for my project. It was not working out for me. I couldn't remember anything. Just hearing is not my strongest learning ability. I'm a hands-on and sighted person. That is how I learn. And with books, I mean, I've read books my whole life. I love books. I was not able to read it and turn the pages and say, oh my gosh, okay, I missed something, let me go back. And I would write in there with my pencil. And I just couldn't do that with audiobooks. I would have to rewind and like guess where I left off and was having trouble, and it was just not for me. So I was also given a tape recorder, or I don't know what you call those these days. I was given one of those, and I was to record the entire classroom and listen to it at home and try to do my work via tape recorder. That was just the stupidest thing ever, dude. I'm like, what the heck? Like, this whole classroom, it's silence. All you hear is and achoo. You only heard a few things from the teacher that whole time. Like, it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to school 8 hours and I would still stay after school. And then I would go home and do another 8 hours of school. No way! So that was a struggle. Math class was a struggle. Every class was a struggle. As far as church, church was hard. I suddenly had to learn all the music for myself. I could not rely on looking at my phone for lyrics, chords, nothing. I learned everything by myself. So now I can play the piano without looking. I can play my ukulele without looking now. I had to be forced to not look at my hands, you know? And even if I did try to look, I couldn't see it. Church was kind of difficult, you know, I understand where Christians come from, you know, they want to speed up healing process, and I know that God can do miracles, but oh my gosh, all of this stuff, it's just things that I did not want to hear. I did not want to hear any of this stuff, and I was just bombarded with such cliche Bible verses.
By the way, when I say cliche, I mean overused. I don't like to use the word cliche when it comes to the Bible, so I'm sorry about that. I mean overused Bible verses.
That are so good and so powerful, but it's like, I did not want to hear that. Do not talk to me about that right now. Like, just because I am blind right now doesn't mean you can patronize me and belittle me with all of these Bible verses. I am not suffering. I am struggling. I'm just not suffering. It's something that I can go through, you know? It's just, do you know what I'm trying to say? It was just, oh my gosh. And that's why I never talked to anyone about it, you know? I was just bent out of shape, I guess, because, they would tell me the same thing the other Christian told me. And I'm like, yes, I know. Just leave me alone. I trust in God. This is between me and him, okay? Like, oh my God. I don't want you to feel just for me, you know? Oh, that's what I got from so many people everywhere. Oh, honey, this isn't gonna last forever. Don't worry. It's gonna pass. You just give it some time. And that's all I heard all the time. I understand where people are coming from, but oh my goodness, like, I'm not suffering. Let me be happy. It's okay to go through things. Like, people just want to speed up the process of things, and it's like, what if there's a lesson to be learned in this? I'm so sorry this is all distorted and discombobulated and just disgustingly spoken, but that is how it was being blind. It was just a horde and an overwhelmingly amount of trying to be positive. And I'm already a positive person, and you telling me all of these things is not good. I'll now tell you why. Let's say you're the blind person, and I'm the one trying to hype you up and make you feel better, even though you don't feel sad about it. Me telling you all of these positive things, like, oh honey, it's gonna get better, don't worry, it's okay, this is not gonna last forever, or it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And me telling you all of these things makes it as if you should feel bad about it. Makes it as if you should feel sad. It makes it seem as though you should feel like you're suffering. It makes it seem like you should feel like you can't be normal and live a life. And people look at it as if it's a ginormous thing that completely changes your life forever. And yes, it does change your life. I promise you, being blind has changed my life. But I will say for the better. People look at it as something completely drastic, which it is, but the thing is that it's just something that I live with that's different from you. You live with a cat. I live with the dog. You live with your sight. I live without my sight. And to me, it's nothing more than that. And being blind, I was bombarded with all of this, it's okay mindset. And no, it's better than okay. I just live differently from you, and that's okay. And I still am sometimes, because I still live with this disease, and I still live with the possibility of going blind again. And I still get overflowed with these types of comments a lot of the time. I shouldn't feel sad about this. I shouldn't get angry. I shouldn't feel like this with what I live with, because it's just something that I live with. That's all it is, you know? You live with diabetes. I live with VKH. Again, you live with a cat. I live with a dog. That's all it is. And people made it seem that I should suffer, that I should feel less than the average Joe because I don't have sight. I don't have something that they have. All right? You have a Corvette. I have a station wagon. That's okay, because we can still get around. It's like, maybe I do need a little assistance, but I can still get around. And that's one of the biggest things that was frustrating while being blind. I've just learned so many things while being blind. I've learned how to do a lot of things without relying on my sight. And it's still like that on a day-to-day basis, where I have to rely on my other sources of sense, you know? I have to rely on all of my other sources of sense because I am limited on both my hearing and my sight, because this autoimmune disease does not only affect my sight, but it affects my hearing. So I have to rely so much on my hands, my touch, my feel. There's so much more to being blind than just not being able to see. I just want people to understand that just because I live with something that you don't live with, or just because I live without something that you live with, it does not make me incompetent. It does not make me less than you. It does not make my value any more or any less than yours. And it doesn't make me suffer. And another thing is that you will truly find who your friends are when you go blind. And you're probably thinking, well, isn't there an easier way? Well, of course there is. But for me, I was left with nobody. Once I graduated, I had 0 friends. 0 true friends. People will make fun of you. And you would think that, oh, you know, she's disabled, let's not make fun of her. And no, people still made fun of me, which I'm actually good with, because I'm glad they didn't treat me with special privileges because I was blind. If you ever go blind, just expect that. People are going to make fun of you because you live without something that they live with, and they think it's funny. I'm not gonna pretend and lie and say that it wasn't hard, and it still is hard sometimes living with what I live with, but it's not unbearable. It's not something I can't handle, and that is why the Lord allows certain things and doesn't allow certain things, because He knows that we can withstand the things that are ahead of us. He knows that we can withstand, the things that He's given us, or the things that He hasn't given us. He knows that we can live through that. Heck yeah, I'd rather live with sight 100% 20/20 vision, but that's not the case right now. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know God's plan. And the only thing that I know for sure, without a doubt, is that this is not going to last forever, because that is what God told me Himself when I was in the hospital in September of 2016. No one can tell me any different, that you're going to live with this with the rest of your life. No, doctors have told me that, but that is not the truth, because God told me that. And that's the only thing I know. I don't know when it's going to happen. So I'm just going to keep believing, because He is going to heal me. I just don't know when that is, though, you know? But anyway, I say all of this to say, I do not suffer from blindness. I just live differently than you. And yes, I might have only been pitch black blind for 2 weeks, but I do still live with this. And I'm not going to pretend that I don't get sad about it and I don't have my days, which I totally do. But those days don't really happen as often as people would think, because I know who God is, and I know that He takes care of me, and that He's my provider, and I don't have to worry about anything, even though as a human, sometimes I do worry, and that's okay, because we have that part of emotion and feeling that we worry. That is okay. But overall, I know who God is, and I don't worry as often as people would think, or people say you should worry. That's what it's like being blind, you guys. It is different, but not unbearable, not unlivable, if that's even a word, and it's not as crazy as you would think it would be. I mean, it did change my life forever, and It turned my whole world upside down. I didn't know what to expect, but once you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it, and you know how to live. And yes, I do need assistance from time to time, but that's okay. I live with assistance, you live without assistance. I think it's nice to have assistance, you know. It's something I still struggle with because I like to do things by myself, on my own, my way, you know. I'm very that way, but I mean, I think it's really cool to have people that have my back no matter what. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Share with your friends who think that they are suffering when they're not. It's okay to live with something that someone does not live with. You know why? Because it makes you unique. Comment down below, have you ever gone blind? But yeah, that's it. I love you guys so much, and Jesus loves you more than I ever could, and don't ever forget it. Drink your smoothie, and don't forget to stay groovy. Mwah. Bye, you guys.